Hello students, today let us learn about the drainage system of India. The rivers of India are categorized into Himalayan rivers or North Indian rivers and peninsular rivers which are also called as South Indian rivers. The very important Himalayan rivers are Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra. The peninsular rivers of India are categorized into west flowing rivers that empty into Arabian Sea, the east flowing rivers flowing into Bay of Bengal. Let us see about each one of these rivers in detail now. Before seeing about them in detail, let us know about some context related to rivers. Actually, what is a river basin? The total area drained by a river and its tributaries is known as a drainage basin or river basin. What is a tributary? Different branches or streams of river join together to form a single river, and these branches are called as tributaries. For example, Yamuna is a tributary of river Ganga. And what is distributary? Before that is near the mouth of a river, before entering into the sea or emptying into the sea, the rivers they bring down lots of sediments and mud with them. And all these loads and sediments are deposited at the mouth of the river, forming triangular shape of land. At this juncture, again the river branches into different streams called as distributaries. So tributaries are formed at the source of the river or near the source of the river, whereas the distributaries are formed at the mouth of a river. And this is the difference between tributary and distributary. Hooghly is the important distributary of river Ganga. And the meeting point of different rivers is called as confluence. Now, the important characteristics of Himalayan rivers. They originate from Himalayas. The Himalayan rivers are long and wide. They are perennial in nature. That is, they have water throughout the year. During the monsoon season, the monsoon rainfall fed water to the rivers, and during the summer season, the glaciers from Himalayas melt and feed water. And these rivers are mostly unsuitable for hydropower generation since they flow over the plains. Middle and lower courses are navigable. Now let us see about the Indus River system. Indus is one of the largest rivers in the world. It has its origin from the northern slope of Kailash range in Tibet near Manasarovar Lake. See, the Kailash range is here. This is Manasarovar Lake, which serves as the source of river Indus. It runs through the states of Jammu and Kashmir and turns south near Chillar and enters Pakistan. And its length is 709 kilometers and the drainage area is 3,21,289 square kilometers. And the major tributaries of river Indus are Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi and Sutlej. And across the river Sutlej, the largest dam of India, Bakra Nangal, is built. And the reservoir of this dam is called as Gobind Sahar Lake, which is the largest man-made lake in India. Next is Ganga River, which is also the national river of India and sacred holy river of India. The Ganga River system is the largest drainage system of India. It extends over land area of 8,61,404 square kilometers in India. And the Ganga Plain is the most densely populated place in India, and many towns are developed on the banks of this river. And one example is Lucknow. The river Ganga originates as Bhagirathi from Gangotri Glacier in Uttarkashi district of Uttarakhand state. And the length of the river is 2,525 kilometers. And the major tributaries of river Ganga are Gomti, Gandak, Kosi, and also in the south we have so many tributaries like Rihand, Punpun, San, it has so many tributaries. And river Ganga is known as river Padma in Bangladesh. The combined river of Ganga and Brahmaputra creates the world's largest delta Sundarbans in Bangladesh. Brahmaputra River. And this Brahmaputra River originates from Chemayungdang Glacier of Kailash Range to the east of Manasarovar Lake in Tibet. The total area, the draining area of this river is 5,80,000 square kilometers, But the drainage area lying in India is 1,94,413 square kilometer. And it is known as Sangpo in Tibet, which means purifier. The length of this river is 2,900 kilometers, whereas in India, the length of the river is 900 kilometers. It enters into Arunachal Pradesh through a gorge, which is called as Daihang. It has many tributaries like Tista, Manas, Barak, and Subansri. And this river is also called as Jamuna in Bangladesh. After joins with river Ganga in Bangladesh, this river is called as Meghna. Now let us see some of the important South Indian rivers. The South Indian rivers are categorized into west flowing rivers and east flowing rivers. And the important characteristics of these rivers are most of these rivers originate in Western Ghats, and these rivers are shorter and narrower than the Himalayan rivers. They are non-perennial in nature because they are not originating from any glacier, and they are very seasonal because they are dependent on the rain. And these rivers are suitable for hydropower generation because most of the rivers flow through the plateau region of India, and this is not useful for navigation. And most of the rivers that originate in Western Ghats, they drain into Bay of Bengal. The reason is the plateau gently slopes towards the east. That's why these rivers, they flow into Bay of Bengal. Now let us see about the first river of the, or very important river of the peninsular India, Mahanadi. It originates near Sihava in Raipur district in Maikala ranges, and it flows through Chhattisgarh and enters Mahanadi and drains into Bay of Bengal. And the important tributaries of this river are Sionath, Chelan, Sandhu, and Yev, or its major tributaries. And main distributaries are Paika, Biruba, Chitatala, Chenkuti, and Nan. And all these distributaries form the delta of Mahanadi. They form the delta here. And the Mahanadi empties its water in Bay of Bengal. Next is River Krishna. It originates from a spring at Mahabaleshwar Hill in the Western Ghats of Maharashtra. And the length of the river is 1,400 kilometers, and it drains the area of 2.58 lakh square kilometer. It is the second longest peninsular river of India. And the important tributaries are Bhima River, Pedavagu, Muzi, Mula and Mutta. Muzi. Actually, Hyderabad is situated on the banks of river Muzi. And Pune is situated on the banks of river this Mula and Mutta. Tungabhadra are the major tributaries of this river. It also flows through Andhra Pradesh and joins in Bay of Bengal at Hamsala Devi. Next, Godavari. Godavari is the largest peninsular river of India. It originates in Trimbakeshwar in the Nasik district of Maharashtra. It flows through the Maharashtra and also enters Telangana and then Andhra Pradesh and finally drains into Bay of Bengal. It is the longest river among the peninsular rivers and also called as Vridaganga. It originates in Nasik district, which we saw now, and flows to Telangana, Andhra Pradesh and joins Bay of Bengal. And Purna, Penganga, Parnita, Indravati, Tal and Salami are its major tributaries. Near Rajamundri, it gets divided into two channels called Vasishta and Gautami. Here, channels into two, Vasishta and Gautami, and forms one of the largest deltas of India. Koleru, a freshwater lake, is located in the deltaic region of Godavari. And Kaveri, it originates at Talakaveri, Kudagu Hills of Karnataka in Hasan district, and its length is 800 kilometers. Kaveri is called as Dakshin Ganga. Harangi, Hemavati, Kabini, Bhavani, Arkavati, Noyal, and Amaravati are the important tributaries of Kaveri River. Here you can see river Hemavati, one of the important tributaries, Kabini, Amaravati, all these are important tributaries of river Kaveri. And Kolleru or Kollerun, Kollidam, which is called as Kollidam in Tamil, is one of the important distributary of river Kaveri. In Karnataka, the river bifurcates twice, forming the sacred islands of Srirangapatnam and Sivasamudram. While entering Tamil Nadu, the Kaveri continues through a series of twisted wild gorges until it reaches Hokenekal Falls and flows through a straight, narrow gorge near Salem. The Kaveri breaks at Srirangam Island with two channels, River Kollerun and Kaveri. At last, it empties into Bay of Bengal at Pumbuhar. Now let us see about the west flowing rivers of India. The very important river, the flowing river of India is Narmada River. River Narmada rises in Amarkantak Plateau in Madhya Pradesh. It rises here. This is the rising place. And here, to the north of Narmada River, the slope of the land here gently slopes towards the west. That is the reason Narmada and Tapti empties into Arabian Sea. It flows for a distance of 1,312 kilometers and covers an area of 98,796 square kilometers. It forms 27 kilometers long estuary before falling out into the Arabian Sea through the Gulf of Cambay. This is Gulf of Cambay. River Narmada empties into Gulf of Cambay. It is the largest among the west-flowing rivers of peninsular India. Its principal tributaries are Banhar, Halon, Heron, Banjar, Dudi, Shakar, Tawa, Barna, and Kolar. And these are the beautiful gorges carved out by river Narmada. Now, the other important west-flowing river is Tapti. The length of the river is 724 kilometers and the area it drained by river Tapti is 65,145 square kilometers. And Tapti river rises near Multai in Betul district of Madhya Pradesh in Satpura range. Multai here. This is the rising place of river Tapti at an elevation of 752 meters above the sea level. It is one of the only three rivers in peninsular India that run from east to west, the others being Narmada and Mahi. The major tributaries are Vaki, Gomai, Arunavati, Hanar, Mezu, Burai, Panjara, and Bori. Panjara. These are all the important Purna. These are the important tributaries of river Tapti. It outfalls into Arabian Sea through Gulf of Cambay. This area is called as Gulf of Cambay. It is also called as Gulf of Kambat. River Tapti empties into Gulf of Kambat or Gulf of Cambay. And with this, we come to the end of lesson 1 for class 10 geography. Hope you all enjoy and benefited by watching this series.